The dream of traveling to Africa even once in a lifetime is a luxurious dream of the rich. To see strange animals like zebras or baboons, tourists have to spend a large amount of money, up to several $1,000s. However, some Vietnamese people see a completely different story here: African rhinos. For them, this is a real bargain because Vietnamese people believe that rhino horn is a medicine that can cure incurable diseases such as cancer or epilepsy. History records that, in feudal times, every 2 to 3 years, Vietnamese envoys had to bring local specialties to pay tribute to Chinese kings. Among those specialties, ivory or rhino horn are considered the most valuable products. In some ancient Vietnamese medical books, the effects of rhino horn are recorded. It is considered effective in treating high fever, convulsions, stroke, epilepsy. However, there is no scientific evidence about this. In modern times, rumors about rhino horn being able to cure cancer are believed by many Vietnamese people. Even though it is still a poor country, many Vietnamese people are willing to spend more than $4,000 to buy 100 grams of rhino horn, price of the year 2020, to treat their family members getting cancer, and they have to sell many precious things to have enough money to buy it. Vietnam's last rhino was killed on October 25, 2010 in Cat Tien National Forest, Dong Nai Province, about 50 kilometers from Ho Chi Minh City. This information was confirmed by WWF, World Wild Fund, at a press conference in Vietnam. People have also found the skeleton of this rhino except for its horn, which was cut off. And so, to meet a huge demand with interest rates that can reach thousands of %, people look to faraway Africa, where the rhino is just an animal in the zoo for tourists to see, and for African people it has almost no value. There are two main kinds of people involved in smuggling rhino horns from Africa to Vietnam. Smugglers often hide rhino horns in containers carrying wood pieces and bring them directly to Vietnam. Others are brought back by air. Some diplomats in the Republic of South Africa, taking advantage of diplomatic status, also joined this smuggling line. The consequences of the rhino horn trade are, more than 2,700 rhinos were killed in Africa within 4 years, from 2018 to 2021, of which 90% were in the Republic of South Africa, Kruger National Park. Because the price of rhino horn is thousands of times more expensive than the price of water buffalo horn, while the chemical composition is 99.99% the same, a market for fake rhino horn made from water buffalo horn has formed. It is very difficult to distinguish between real and fake rhino horn unless it is examined under a microscope. People can fake most of the identifying characteristics, color, smell, and hair on the outside. Experts or experienced traders say that real rhino horns do not have concentric circles while fake horns do. Professor Fritz Vollrath, a researcher at Oxford University, said he has succeeded in producing artificial rhino horns. Using a testing machine, its composition is exactly the same as real horn. The outer fur is made from horsehair. Looking under a microscope, it is no different from real horns. Just like artificial diamonds, using it will reduce the demand for rhino horn because the production cost is many times cheaper. Chinese professors also achieved similar successes. However, biologists from wildlife protection organizations oppose this idea. They believe that if the market is flooded with artificial rhino horn products, it will stimulate demand for real rhino horn. They oppose the intention to produce artificial rhino horn. People also do another way, cutting off the rhino's horn. Because rhino poachers will ignore it if the rhino doesn't have a horn. Some others inject poison into rhino horns. This substance is not harmful to rhinos but can cause poisoning to users. Some people accidentally bought this type of rhino horn and were poisoned and had to go to the hospital. Reality shows that in addition to the above measures, propaganda about not using rhino horn in Vietnam has also achieved many encouraging results. Many people have a better understanding and perhaps less use. We are not naive people and easily believe that with a few propaganda campaigns, tomorrow Vietnamese people will no longer use rhino horn if we do not know the root cause of the problem. History or the creator's irony have placed Vietnam next to a giant in the north, China. Vietnam has a 1,400 kilometers long common border with China and has historically been colonized by China for up to 1,000 years. And so Vietnam has learned many good things from Chinese civilization, writing, literature, military organization, administration. And at the same time learned countless bad things, cooking tiger gum, eating bear meat, killing elephants for ivory and of course using rhino horn as a traditional medicine even though there is no scientific documentation to prove it. Although few people mention that China is the main market and more important than the Vietnamese market for rhino horn. In many cases, rhino horn is brought into Vietnam and then smuggled through Hong Kong or across the border to its final destination, China. The ancient medical books that Vietnam has, brought from China, written in ancient Chinese, talk about the effects of rhino horn in treating diseases and Vietnam simply reads and believes these books. Vietnamese people not only use it to treat diseases but also to give it to each other, using something more expensive than gold to show class in society. Who are the people daring to spend thousands of dollars to buy just 100 grams while the average salary is only $280 a month? They are certainly not the young girls and boys, enthusiastically raising high the posters for the anti-rhino horn use campaign or the workers on the streets riding mediocre and cheap motorbikes. Gentle rhinos, be careful if see a Vietnamese person appearing from afar.